In this video, I will be sharing a complete scalping strategy with a very high win rate. But before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss on any of our new videos. With that being said, let's get into today's video. First, let us understand the exact meaning of scalping. Scalping is one of the most difficult ways of trading. It requires a highly effective strategy and strict risk management. But the profit potential of scalping is unmatched by any other form of trading. Therefore, learning to scalp the markets can reap you rewards for the rest of your life. By definition, scalping is a trading style through which a trader enters and exits the market multiple times to generate small profits on each trade. To do so, scalpers use high leverage. A high leverage means more rewards and equally more risk. Therefore, it becomes essential for the trader to employ strict risk management and stick to the trading plan. Now, let us shift our focus on the strategy itself. For our strategy, we will use a 5-minute time frame. If you are an experienced trader, then you can use a lower time frame. But for the sake of this video, we will stick to the 5-minute time frame. Due to the fast nature of the business, scalpers have to make decisions at a very rapid pace. To help them make these decisions, scalpers use technical indicators. In fact, most of the scalpers that I have met always use at least one indicator. For our strategy, we will use the Camarilla pivot points indicator. By definition, pivot points are price levels that are calculated based on the price action of the previous day. This is how the pivot points look on the chart. All these 11 lines are called as pivot points. The central line, which is this white line, is called as the central pivot. The 5 red lines above it are called as the resistance lines. They are labeled as R1, R2, R3, R4. Similarly, these green lines below the central pivot are called as support lines. They also have their individual names: S1, S2, S3, S4. The theory behind pivot points is very simple. They give us a general gauge of the trend of the market. For instance, if the price is trading above the central pivot, we can say that the price is in an uptrend. And if the price is trading below the central pivot, then we can say that the price is in a downtrend. Traders also use the pivot points to determine the entry, exits, and stop losses. Now, these were the standard pivot points. But we will use the Camarilla pivot points for our trading. Camarilla pivot points are an extension to the regular pivot points. They consist of 4 resistance points and 4 support points. Camarilla pivots are a little bit different than the regular pivots, so their interpretation will also be different. When the price is between the R4 and the S4, the price will be considered to be in a range. On the other hand, when the price breaks above the R4, it will be considered to be in an uptrend. Similarly, when the price breaks below the S4, we will consider the price to be in a downtrend. For our strategy, we will only use 4 pivot points: S3, S4, R3 and R4. We will treat each pivot equal. Hence, we will keep all the pivots in blue color. Now that we have understood the Camarilla indicator, we will now look at the trade setup. This is how our trade setup looks. The one and only rule of our trade setup is that we want the current R4 and S4 to be within the range of the previous day's R4 and S4. Here, these are the current day's Camarilla pivots, and these are the previous day's Camarilla pivots. As you can see, the current day's Camarilla pivots are completely inside the previous day's R4 and S4. So, what does this signify? This signifies that the price is in a sideways range. When the asset wants to make a strong trending move, it generally goes through a long period of sideways range to accumulate momentum. Hence, when we have identified the sideways range using our setup, we can expect a trending move in any direction. Our job as scalpers will be to catch this trending move. This means that we will buy if the price breaks above the current R4. And we will sell if the price breaks below the current S4. Let us look at a buying setup. Here we see that the current days R4 and S4 are inside the range of the previous days R4 and S4. This shows us that the price is in a sideways trend. Hence we want to wait for a breakout. In our strategy, we will buy when the price closes above the R4. Similarly, we will sell when the price closes below the S4. Here, we see that the price has successfully closed above the R4. Hence, we place a buy trade here. We will keep our stop loss below the R3, and we will place our targets at 2:1 risk to reward ratio. As you can see, the price made a strong up move after our entry. Now, let us look at a sell trade. Here again, we can clearly see that the present days R4 and S4 are completely inside the range of the previous day's pivot. So, this is a good trade opportunity. Here is our entry, as we see that the price successfully breaks and closes below the S4. So we sell here. We will keep our stop loss above the S3, and we will keep our targets at 2:1 risk to reward ratio. On this trade, the price does not immediately achieve our target. Instead, it comes up and finds resistance at the S4. Then it reverses and achieves our target. This strategy does not work all the time. There will be losing trades with this strategy. For instance, look at this chart. Here we have a perfect trade setup. The current day's pivots are inside the range of the previous day's pivots. So, we buy when the price breaks above the R4. We place our stops below this R3, and we place our targets at 2:1 risk to reward ratio. But the price faces difficulty in breaking above this level. This level has recently provided resistance, and is doing it again here. In the end, this resistance prevents the price to achieve our target, and we see our stop loss get hit. In the end, we make a loss. And that is perfectly fine. Losses are a part of the game. The quicker you realize, the better. This brings us to the end of this video. If you like this video, then be sure to subscribe to our channel, so that you don't miss on any of our new videos. See you soon.